6:16 on what's been a beautiful morning with a lot of pretty color in the sky across the eastern horizon, especially as viewed from the Arkansas River Valley. We have partly cloudy conditions right now over the Steel City and getting some oranges in the skies. The sun's lighting up the underside of the clouds. Really a very beautiful morning across the area. A little water in the air. Did notice some dew on the car and had to run the windshield wipers and the defrosters on my way in. And it's quite cool actually up in Teller County this morning. We're only in the mid-40s right now at Cripple Creek. And that's been pretty common across the higher terrain so far. The wind is pretty light. The sky is generally clear right now. 52 degrees at Mug-a-Bug Pest Control. Great visibility looking back towards Pikes Peak. And of course, we showed you the partly cloudy conditions in Pueblo where the temperature is currently in the 50s. Water vaporimetry, again, our best tool for looking at the monsoon flow. It shows up as all this milky white that you see. We're sort of in a little dry stretch here in between two kind of pockets of water that are in the atmosphere. But we should have enough around to help support at least some scattered thunderstorms over the mountains. Skycast shows through noon will be relatively quiet, with the first showers trying to develop primarily over the big peaks to the west of Trinidad. But for most of eastern Colorado, I think we'll be looking at some pretty good amounts of sunshine at that time of the day. As we move into the afternoon, you do see some spotty thunderstorms begin to develop across parts of eastern Colorado. I think most of this activity will be found along and west of the interstate through this time frame. You folks out here on the plains likely to see a little more of this as we get a little later into the afternoon and evening. Bottom line is the coverage of storms won't be ridiculously high today, probably at about a 30% coverage over near the mountains and a little lesser than that on the plains. And it's going to be another comfortably cool day for this time of the year with highs in the 70s and 80s at lower elevations and mainly 60s and 70s as we head up across the higher terrain. Storms that continued to drift southeastward this evening will eventually come to an end overnight across the far eastern plains, leaving us with a partly cloudy sky through midnight and then mostly clear conditions through tomorrow morning. The storms throughout this evening are not likely to be severe, but they could produce some bursts of heavy rain, frequent lightning, some gusty wind, and maybe even some small hail. Drier air should then begin to work into the area tomorrow. Not enough to remove entirely the mention of thunderstorms from the forecast, but certainly we would imagine that storms would become a little bit less numerous tomorrow and probably less likely to produce heavy rain. With the drier air should come a warming trend, which will carry us into the early part of next week. We'll get temperatures back up into the mid-80s in Colorado Springs during the afternoon hours. The next shot of cooler air looks to arrive maybe Thursday and Friday, and with that we should see an upswing in the number of thunderstorms and probably their ability to produce some heavier rain again, at least as we head towards Thursday night into Friday. Pueblo, look for high temperatures to get back up into the 90s starting Monday. Overnight lows will creep back up to around 60 degrees. I think after today's chance for thunderstorms, you're looking at just partly cloudy conditions for a couple of days. Storms will then come back in a very spotty fashion Tuesday and Wednesday, and then probably increase a little bit by the end of the work week. Canyon City, temperatures in the 80s here through the weekend. We'll get you back into the 90s starting on Monday. Overnight lows in the 50s to lower 60s. Again, storms should decrease some tomorrow across the area. Monday looks like a dry day. And then at least some spotty storms will come back across the area starting Tuesday with better chances for some rain by Thursday and Friday. Mountain areas, each and every day you'll have a chance for thunderstorms. But certainly we would expect the number and intensity of the storms to be on the decrease the next couple of days. And then upswing again probably by Thursday and Friday. Now, most days will be in the 70s, overnight lows, cool, in the 40s to around 50. And I can always feel the transition. I know it's summer, but the nights are getting longer, and when you get up that early in the morning, you know, for this shift, it's just, there's a little bit of a bite in the air, which is a, you know, suggestion that changes are coming pretty soon.
It's so true. When I left my house this morning, I was like, gosh, this feels like fall.
Yeah, it's a little different.
I know. I mean, I'm looking forward to fall, but it's still like, ooh, it's mid-August. Just pump the brakes a little bit.
A couple more weeks, and we'll be talking about September, and then anything goes, as you know, in September around here.
Exactly. Thanks a lot, Marty.
You're welcome.